Good morning, everybody. I hope this week has been a good week for you and that the helpful, handy tips have helped in some way. Now today, as I said, is going to be a little bit different because people have said you seem to have a great passion for supporting and encouraging other people. Why is that? So I'm going to give you the answer to that today, and hopefully it will help you. Now, when I was only 4 years old, my mother taught me to read. And I loved to read. I would look at the pictures, I would look at the words for hours on end. And one day she said, if you're a very clever girl, you might be able to write a book yourself. Oh, imagine that, I thought. There was just one thing. I had to go to school to do that. Wasn't very pleased at all with that. But never mind. I said I would go along to school and be a very good girl, do everything I was told, and I would learn to read and write. There'd be hundreds of books, Mum said. I was a little bit worried, I have to admit, because in 4 years I'd never spent one single day away from my mother. But off I went to school. I was so excited, and do you know, I can remember that day so clearly. I remember the window on the left, the blackboard on the right with a big picture of a full stop saying, "Don't forget me." That's how clear that day is in my mind. And there I was, so excited. Finally I was at school, sitting there, crossed legs, fingers on lips, being a clever girl. And there was 2 teachers in the room, and one of them came over, very gently took my hand and led me to the back of the class. The words I heard next stayed with me for 58 years, and I can still hear them. The teacher said, "That's another one that won't amount to anything. She's one of those from the home." I've never forgotten that. The sad thing is, it stayed with me in here, in my heart, for 58 years. As a 4-year-old, I didn't totally understand those words. But as I got older, I did. I never, ever, ever told my mother what I heard that day, and she never understood why I no longer wanted to read the books and I no longer believed I could write a book, because I was her from the home. Well, growing up, you know, in my era, it wasn't a time when people would say, "Oh, you can do it, reach for the stars, go for that dream, buy the t-shirt with a big tick on it that says, 'I can do it.'" It didn't happen. I was loved beyond measure, but I wasn't encouraged to do things outside of get a job, work hard. That was it. Now, when I had my very first book published, it was still very hard for me to believe that this was true, that I had done something, that I had succeeded at something. It was just so hard. I couldn't grasp it, because I was her from the home who was never going to succeed. And then my second book was published, and I realised one day, you know what? They were wrong. I'm not her from the home, I'm Suzanne Lambert. And I can do things if I work hard. I can achieve great things exactly the same as you can. And I knew then I wanted to encourage and support everybody as much as I possibly could. I want you to go out and get that t-shirt with a big tick on it saying, "I can do it," and believe wholeheartedly that you can. Now, because of that today, I hope you don't mind, but I actually chose the card for today rather than let it come out at random, and you'll know why when I read this. I've written, "There's many a critic who may burst your bubble, make you unsure. Is it worth all the trouble? Don't question yourself, just let the words flow. Smile and say thank you, then just let it go." You know, there's a massive amount of difference between criticism and critique. Now, a long time ago, a few years ago now, I went to a conference, and I don't know who the gentleman was because I can't remember. But I do remember something he said, and those words have stayed with me and helped me. And this is what he said. He said, if somebody tries to advise or criticise you, take a good, long, hard look at them. Because if they aren't where you want to be or who you want to be, then they're not qualified to advise you. And I think they're very important words for today. It no longer matters to me what that teacher thought. I won't let it stop me anymore. It did for a long time, for 58 years. Don't wait until you're 58 to write your book. Go on, do it now. Let me be here saying, I read your story, it was wonderful. So that's it for today. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful weekend, and I shall see you again on Monday. Goodbye for now.